Does it take to make a man break?
His fearful frustrations from 9/11 sent him fighting for freedom 7,000 miles away.
36,960,000 feet away from sanity. How can anyone travel that far without losing themselves? Fort Leavenworth is a destination for rest and relaxation after a fourth deployment to hell on earth. He faces a charge of premeditated murder. But what is it called when you are professionally trained to intentionally kill? Did it feel natural to pull the trigger? A war zone in a village home are one and the same to a man who replaces a child's face with a bullseye. Like target practice, he targeted the innocent.
It makes you wonder what those 16 Afghan citizens represented. All murdered by the same hand.
All burned with the same flame. All taken in the comfort of the PJs by a man wearing a uniform.
A uniform representing the very country that sent him there, so who's to blame?
The puppet.
The master
of the nation that stood by and watched, instead of cutting the strings.
Women and children seen as hostiles on the side of his AK-47.
American veterans commit suicide every 3 days.
Was the fear of taking his own life the motivation for his rage?
Or did he look into their faces and see his own war-weary reflection? Maybe in his injured mind he thought it was helping them escape the horror of their lives.
That night he might have finally pieced together the puzzle, using his knives and ammunition as his paintbrush, 16 human bodies as his canvas. He painted the portrait in blood.
What was he trying to portray? All I see is a PTSD victim being redeployed without reevaluation. Hands set on involuntary autopilot, his left not knowing what the right was up to because they've been doing it for so long. So much so that when they were left dangerously idle at the mercy of the devil inside him, they became playthings that turned their games on the nearest civilians and stabbed and shot and burned and murdered. Massacre multiple.
The headlines that should finally expose our Pentagon for who they are.
Careless cowards.
They put fear in the hearts of the patriotic to enlist thousands of thoughtless, institutionalized individuals, giving them just enough time to repiece the shattered recollections of their last tour of duty before they go back to the war zone.
Man, at least they had the decency to teach our soldiers how to dig trenches before digging their own burial plots. How many dead soldiers does it take?
How many innocent Afghan citizens does it take?
How many tours of duty does it take to make a soldier break? And again, I find myself wondering who was to blame.
Was it the government playing political war games, placing soldiers on the battlefield like poker chips in a casino?
They were going all in, but it's not like they were gambling their own worthless lives, so I guess you could say they were bluffing.
And when post-traumatic stress disorder called in their marker, it blew up in their faces. How does the press and the media roll to cover up?
Making it out like he acted for free will when we all know freedom isn't free. He acted subconsciously, with patriotic duty in the back of his head whispering, "Cause I'm a soldier.
I don't want to leave my home, but I will,
cause I'm a soldier. I don't want to take another life, but I will, cause I'm a soldier.
I know I should seek help, but I won't,
cause I'm a soldier. Cause I'm a soldier." Humanity is now an afterthought.
Reality is what we are left with, 16 dead but a million questions that lay unanswered.
And the demanding one remains, who is to blame? The puppet?
The master?
Of the nation that stood by and watched, instead of cutting the strings? We're just procrastinating spectators holding safety scissors.
When the truth is, we could have cut these lines a long time ago.
But what is there to watch if there isn't a puppet show? What?
I'm going to drop the slowest score of a 9.8. A 9.8. A 10. A 10. And a 10. Thank you.